Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. Right, today we're going to talk about cyber deals. Before I do go any further, I must warn you, this video might not be exactly what you are looking for, because in this video I'm not going to tell you what I think is going to be in Peter Parker's wallet or Tony Stark's wallet. Tony Stark's briefcase, so on and so forth, because this time around I think it is basically impossible to plausibly predict what is going to happen, because we do have up to 5 different new resources that could be introduced in these offers. Therefore, it is going to be slightly different type of prediction, because I genuinely think that if anybody without having any insider knowledge can tell you that they are quite confident in their guess, well, they're not. Because we have potential of 7-star shards. I don't think there will be there, but there could be. We have definitely tier 6 class catalyst, which I think 100% will be present in it. And then obviously we have all the star levels for relic shards, all sorts of different embers and alloys for relics. And we have all of these new items that Kabam is likely going to shove in a whole bunch of these offers. That being said, I will do my best to predict as much as I can, in a sense. And additionally to that, before I go any further in the video, I do want to emphasize the fact that these offers are not a must-buy. If you have the means, do so. If you have some spare cash saved up, if you have grinded for units, you're going to have a chance to spend them. If, however, these deals will make you compromise in real life, don't do it. If you are feeling bad about spending money on this game, don't do it, because remember, it is easy to have FOMO in this game, and I suffer from it a lot. And fortunately or unfortunately, this is part of my work and how I have kind of situated my channel on being, you know, at the basically top of the game, and it's bullshit. Really, it is bullshit. It's something that I could easily skip over and probably would be better off. And that is the sad reality of it. A lot of people will spend money on these offers that they do not have, and many will regret it later. In reality, every single thing that Kabam is going to be trying to sell us on Cyber Weekend is going to become 10 times cheaper, 100 times cheaper as the time goes on. There was a time when Kabam was charging $100 for a tier 4 class catalyst. There was a time when Kabam was charging $100, $200, $300 for tier 12. Now you can get one for 20 units or 30 units. Tier 12 is basically like a candy. And exactly the same thing is going to happen to everything that Kabam is selling here. I will make a separate video just before Cyber Weekend specifically trying to highlight this. But remember, life will go on if you don't wail out. That being said, let's take a look at Cyber Weekend deals in 2021. And we're only looking at Cyber Weekend unit deals. And the reason we are doing that is in order to illustrate the format, which I think Kabam is gonna return with. Because they did not do that in July 4th. So I do think they are trying to differentiate Cyber Weekend slightly more from July 4th. And part of the way they are doing that is with this store. In this store, I think ultimately in order to buy everything, you need like 23 or 28,000 units. But as you can see, you really didn't need to buy everything. Like there was a 1,000 unit bundle with a bunch of tier 4 CCs and tier 4 basics. You know, it's easily to be skipped, for instance. Or some, you know, moderate offers that may or may not be worth it. Let's say tier 5 CC, 25% selected and 1 to 2 gem, you know. You don't need to buy it all. Typically, however, the overall amount of units that you need to spend was approximately the same. You needed to buy one of the 1,000 unit bundles at the very least in order to unlock the next ones. Then you needed to spend another 4,000 units in order to unlock the next 5,000 unit bundles. You needed to buy 2 of these, which in totaled 15,000 units, in order to unlock the final 3,000 unit bundle, which definitely was quote unquote worth getting. So I think it's the same 18,000 units that they are going to be trying to get out of you at a minimum. And if you do have anything extra, then you can grab some of these bundles as an extra. However, when it comes to the actual items in there, you can see that how much game economy has changed over that year. where previously for 5,000 units they were selling as half a tier 3 alpha, and then for another 5,000 units half a tier 6 basic. And today, well, there's just no way you would pay that. There's just absolutely no way you'd pay that. Ultimately, you know, you can buy 2 weeks worth of the Thronebreaker Daily Special and select the rank 4 materials, and you basically get that same value for the cost of what, $35-70, and here the cost would have been like 10,000 units, which is over $300. So the game economy has moved drastically since Cyber Weekend deals. Therefore, to look for overalls like items and item quality, it's best to look at the July 4th. And it's not going to be in this format, it's going to be in the store format, but the approximate amount of resources in these offers is going to be much more similar to this. That's what I always say. July 4th and Cyber Weekend are effectively the same offers. If you were to grade offer value in current meta, both of them are of the highest value. Both of them are like, let's say, 100 of 100 or 10 out of 10 in terms of their worth. The thing that changes is the game economy. And therefore, by definition, every July 4th offer is better than the previous Cyber Weekend offer. Every Cyber Weekend offer is better than the previous July 4th offer. Because ultimately, both of these offers present exactly the same value at a point where games economy is at. I hope that makes sense. They just basically get adjusted for inflation. And that, I suspect, will be the case this time around as well, even though with relics and stuff like that, it could change. So last time around, for units, basically you got a 6-star generic gem, you got a 6-star rank 3 to 4 gem, you got approximately 200 and then some 6-star signature stones, you get 2021 champion selector, 2020 champion selector, some 6-star nexuses, a whole bunch of tier 5 basics and tier 5 class catalyst crystals and all that other good stuff. And perhaps most importantly, now we need to take a look at the units. So this is how cash deals look like. And again, most importantly, we need to take a look at Odin, where Odin had a full tier 6 basic, full tier 3 alpha, 5 tier 5 CCs, 2 6-star nexus crystals, 5 tier 5 basics, 10 tier 2 alphas. And then in total, all of these deals, effectively, the most important thing is that they encompassed around 4.5 tier 6 basics and tier 3 alphas. That's ultimately what matters. Yeah, you know, some 5-star shards sometimes go up and down, and individual amounts kind of like change in these items, but realistically, what's in Tony Stark briefcase or what's in Peter Parker's wallet is not important in the overall grand scheme of things. Grand scheme of things is kind of like, what is your take home? Take home in the previous event was about 200 plus 6-star signature stones, a generic 6-star gem, if you got all of the offers, that is, I mean, 2.5 new rank 4s. So basically it had 7.5 tier 6 basics, 7.5 tier 3 alphas in there, an absolute ton of tier 5 basics, tier 5 class catalyst crystals, and all that other stuff. So now we're going to move on to the prediction part. And as I said, I'm not going to tell you what's going to be in Peter Parker's and stuff like that. We're going to be, this time around, a bit more generic with that stuff, because I genuinely think at the moment the game economy is extremely volatile. The acquisition of rank 4 champions has basically exploded for top game players, and that means that with this it's also likely going to let other players catch up. Let's take a look at the first and most important thing for most players. July deals gave 2.5 new rank 4 champions. One with units in the form of 3 to 4 gem, and about 1.5 with cash offers in Odin's, in Black Panther treasures, in Blue Star-Lord, and in Peter Parker's. I do think that will be doubled or tripled. I would not be surprised if we see as many as about 7 new rank 4 champions come out if you get all the offers. I do think that Odin will have minimum of 2 tier 6 basics, 2 tier 3 alphas. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a generic 3 to 4 gem in an Odin. I do think the distribution of the rank 4 materials is going to be about similar, where maybe you get 4 or 4.5 rank 4 material worth in the cash offers, and then maybe 3 or 2.5 rank 4 material worth in units, because that is typically the distribution Kabam does in between cash and unit offers, where they always make cash offers overall more valuable. I think that will still be the trend. And again, I do think we could see 5, 6, 7, 8 maybe new rank 4 champions if you get like all of that stuff. I also do think that past these offers, we will see even further widening of the gates for rank 4 materials. But realistically, even right now, when you combine ABQ and side event, and you combine Eternity of Pain every 6 weeks or so, and you combine now improved rewards for Alliance War, when you combine changes in loyalty store, when you add Battleground store, when you factor in freshly updated Alliance quest rewards, rank 4 materials are coming in and fast, and this is just going to speed it up significantly more. I am all but convinced of that. I think we will see approximately 1 to maybe 2 tier 6 class catalysts, either in crystals or selectors. I'm not too sure on that, but the point being is, I don't think we will see enough for anybody to have a rank 5 champion. I think Kabam is pretty much, as always, trying to save that for gifting event. So I do think we will see tier 4 class, tier 6 class catalysts, because that is now the freshest, the biggest, the rarest chase resource, but it also only has had like 2 or 3 acquisition opportunities. So I do think there's going to be moderate amount of it available, considering that you need 3 of those to take a 6-star champion to rank 5. So I do think we'll see 1 or 2, which effectively would amount for like half a rank up or 60% of the rank up. I am also convinced now that relics and embers and alloys will likely appear. Again, I could be wrong on this, but I do believe that we will see relics, embers, and alloys. And the reason for that is because Kabam rushed quite quickly in order to get that hotfix in the middle of the month. Even though, for instance, you know, Battleground season is going to end with the next update, and that's where majority of the people are going to be acquiring them. And in theory, they could have just, instead of hotfix in the middle of the month, left these updates, you know, till the next one, and it wouldn't have been a big deal, because so far the only relic items that we have earned is the monthly event quest with very limited amounts, and it's free, there's no cash involved, and it's not a competitive mode. And I think if Kabam didn't have plans to sell them, they wouldn't have felt the need to rush so quickly to fix them, so to speak. So I do think relics, embers, and alloys will appear in these offers, which is exactly the reason why it is so difficult to guess, because we don't know how much of the offer space they will take up. We don't know exactly in which offers they're going to appear, how they're going to be valued. The relic economy, you know, is absolutely not clear yet. Like, if we can put a vague unit value of, I don't know, 2,000 units to a tier 6 basic, and we have, I don't know, 500 units or 300 units to tier 5 basic now, we have no idea how expensive relics are right now. That is, for instance, 5-star relic. You know, if you can gauge how many units you would spend for a 6-star crystal. You know, some people would spend 1,000 units, some people would spend 2,000 units. Wherever you value 6-star crystal, we all have some sort of idea of how valuable a 6-star crystal is. We have absolutely no idea how valuable a 5-star relic crystal is, how valuable a 4-star relic crystal is, how much the embers will cost. Therefore, because of that, I'm very, very hesitant to kind of like put them in there. I don't think we will see 7-star shards yet again, because I think it would be fairly odd and silly for Kabam to sell a resource that we can't use. Hence is the reason why I think that Hotfix update came in and why we will see relics. Don't think there will be 7-star shards, or I don't think 7-star shards will appear in offers until you can actually open a 7-star crystal. There will obviously be plenty of rank 1 to 2, rank 2 to 3 materials and gems and 200 to maybe 300 sig stones. There will be a 6-star generic gem. The thing with sig stones and generic gem is, even though they are losing their value in the eyes of the players, they typically retain the value in the eyes of Kabam. 6-star signature stone, in my opinion, is worth about a quarter it was about a year ago, because of the incursions, Eternity of Pain, and most importantly, the Balgon Star. I think that obviously has devalued the 6-star signature stones. But at the same time, I don't think Kabam wants to kind of like overflood players with 6-star signature stones in one kind of like big go. So I do think we'll see relatively moderate amounts that, 6-star signature stone amount in the offers, for instance, hasn't really changed in the last 2 years, what they offer in these big ones. So I don't think we're going to see a change there yet either. Last few things. I don't think we will see a 2022 selector for a very simple reason, and that is that, well, not all the 2022 champions are out, and we have never seen a yearly selector in the same year. I do think the earliest opportunity for us to acquire a 2022 champion selector will come on spring cleaning. And meanwhile, I do think we will see a 2021 champion selector. Obviously, for, many players, it still holds incredible value if you are chasing some of the hottest champions from 2021. For many players, it has lost significant amount of value because you have acquired majority of the champions that you want from that year. But I do think we will see one. And then last bit, just so I can say that I have not forgotten about Thronebreaker players. I do think that if you buy all the Thronebreaker stuff, you can get probably 3 rank 4s worth of catalysts, or 2.5 rank 4 worth of catalysts. With the base idea that if you whale out on all the relevant offers with rank 4 materials in it, you can instantly become Paragon. That is kind of like no secret, no new strategy there, if you will. Kabam has often done this in past. So you can be a relatively fresh Thronebreaker player, but if you got the money bags, you will have the opportunity to become Paragon on the spot, on the day, because then you're going to have opportunity to get Paragon offers as well. Obviously, I do think significant downgrades in all the other areas, including rank 4 materials, but I do think there will be enough of them to make you Paragon. But other than that, you're going to suffer the typical Thronebreaker downfalls, where you're going to have less signature stones, and they're likely going to be class items instead of generic. There's going to be less tier 5 CCs, and they're likely going to be random crystals or fragment crystals instead of selectors, and so on and so forth. Instead of 6-star class nexuses, you're going to get regular 6-star crystals or regular nexuses, and all the typical stuff that Kabam does, they always will do, and that's not going to change. Cavalier offers and Thronebreaker offers, as always, will be worse. And again, I'm not saying that that is how it should be or stuff like that, but from a player perspective, I have always given advice to, if you are Thronebreaker, you should put in all your effort to become Paragon rather than saving units or grinding arena to save units for offers, stuff like that, or, to spend cash whilst you're Thronebreaker. The entire point of the game is to progress further, and fact of the matter is, this game does have progression-based offers. That's not a new thing. And if you are spending money on this game 9 times out of 10, doing so in lower progression levels, you're getting less for your money. So the obvious answer there is do your best to become Paragon as quickly as possible. And this is absolutely not a knock on anybody who is not Paragon. This is absolutely not to say that, anybody's better or worse because they play the game half an hour a day or 3 hours a day or spend on the game or don't spend on the game. This is just the recognition of the fact that this game functions based on progression levels, and highest progression levels get the best offers. If you want the best offers, you need to become at the highest progression level, and that is where you should invest your units and resources and stuff like that, in my opinion, rather than saving money or units for offers on these special days and then being upset that you don't get as much as people who did make to the next progression level. And again, this is nothing to say that, you know, if you want to play this game super casually, play it super casually. But you will, you know, get worse offers as a cow player and worse offers as a Thronebreaker player than people who are Paragon. Just a fact. Nothing to do with my personal preference or anything else. That being said, that's about it here. I think this is more or less what will happen Cyber Weekend. I know this might not be a video that you expected or wanted to see. You probably wanted me to tell you that you're going to get 7,500 shards in Peter Parker's wallet and so on and so forth, but I really don't feel confident doing that this time around, because there are just too many unknowns, too many new resources. The game economy is definitely very volatile. So let me know what you guys think, and I'm going to catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the